So welcome to today's practice of Hatha Yoga with me, Jennifer Norton. Namaste and thank you for joining. Please come to find a comfortable seated position, whatever that might look like for you. Find a position that allows you to sit comfortably with plenty of support so that you can balance the weight between the left and the right buttock bone and find a neutral pelvis. And think tall and act tall. Rise up through the crown. Draw the hands together in prayer position in front of the heart, gentle pressure palm to palm. As you exhale, slide the base of the thumb to the base of the sternum, and on the inhale, lift the sternum from the bottom to the top. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out. And do that again. Deep breath in. And if you haven't already, allow your eyes to close. The upper eyelid is simply resting on the lower eyelid. And take another deep breath. And begin that process of settling in and down as you turn your attention to your breath and very gradually begin to grow your breath. Ideally in yoga, breathing in and out through the nose. The slower you inhale, the deeper you inhale. So relax and draw in a nice, slow, smooth, steady, even, easy breath. And release the same. Slow, easy, silky, gentle, quiet breath out. And once you have settled into a nice, easy rhythm, deep breath, as you exhale, notice the body's natural response to letting the breath go. Every single exhalation is accompanied by an inward and downward flow of energy, or apana vayu. So as you exhale, allow your tail to grow just a little heavier. And on your next exhalation, any amount, relax the abdomen and the shoulders. Don't try to marry your breath to my words. Keep breathing at your own pace. The next time you exhale, soften the space between the eyebrows and allow the forehead to grow broad and smooth, softening the skin at the temples. And while the lips remain lightly touching on the next exhalation, separate the teeth and feel the weight and volume of the tongue resting in the low jaw. In your next exhalation, scan the body, do all of that again, sit down and soften. Don't lose what you've established with the intimate connection to the exhalation, but expand the consciousness now to also include the sensations and details of the inhalation. So as you take that slow, steady, deep breath in, notice the body's natural response. Every single inhalation is accompanied by an upward and outward flow of energy, a prana vayu. So as you inhale, allow the rib cage to float up out of the anchor of the pelvis. Once again, lifting the sternum from the bottom to the top, and bringing your awareness to the base of the back of the skull. And as you inhale, lift that up away from the dropping down of the tail. On your next inhalation, bringing your awareness to the center of the sternum and extend to the ends of the collarbone. So we're stable and steady, buoyant, spacious, and tall. One more nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, tuck the chin, bow just the head, slowly releasing the weight of the head forward until the face is turned to the earth. Take a moment in this gesture of humility and reverence. Surrender the wisdom of the brain to the wisdom of the body. Surrender the ego to the heart. And with the intention of meeting yourself however you show up, with compassion, patience, and respect, we'll begin our practice by joining our voices in the sound of Om. Inhaling as the head floats up. Om. Blinking the eyes open and release the hands. If you're sitting cross-legged, switch the cross of your legs. If you're not sitting cross-legged, come into a cross-legged position, please. Give yourself all the height that you need. Support the knees as necessary. Find comfort. Walking the hands out, turn the palms away, and inhale, let the arms float up. And as you exhale, let the arms float down. Reaching out as if there was something to touch that's just beyond your reach, all the way up and all the way down. Harnessing the power of the breath, the inhalation and the prana lift the arms up. The exhalation and the apana vayu gently deliver the arms down. The next time that you inhale and take the arms up, we'll pause. Drop the tail, lift the heart, soften the shoulders and harden the elbows. Take one more nice deep breath in, palms together, exhaling down the midline of the body. Lean forward enough that you can rest your forearms or elbows on your knees. If that's an issue or a challenge for you, you can build up the space by placing a block on the knees or thighs. And snuggle in. And with that left forearm resting on the right knee or the block, we're going to inhale and sweep the right arm out to come up. Root down in the right buttock bone, piercing the earth, and the right fingers pierce the sky. Take a deep breath in, sigh it out, and do that twice more. Relax the head and neck. Make sure that you're comfortable as you gaze upward towards your right thumb. When you've had 3 breaths, gently and carefully releasing the right arm down, pause, neutral, both elbows resting on the knees or the block. Keep the right elbow right where it is and inhale, sweep the left arm out to come up. Pierce the earth with the buttock bone. Pierce the sky with the fingers. Turn your heart up towards your left palm, gaze upward, and settle in for 3 more breaths. When you've had your 3 breaths, gently releasing the left arm down and slowly begin to walk the hands forward. Find a comfortable position. Gently push the earth away with your hands and see what happens. Newton's first law of physics, energy in one direction met with equal energy in the opposite direction, is constantly at play in our yoga practice, our asana practice. So using just enough effort to push the earth away with the hands to feel the results of the buttocks dropping down. Hips go back. And then a slow, gentle swaying side to side. Let this be controlled, slow, and sensitive. Can be really small or big, doesn't matter. Based on what you feel, you find a range that's just right for you. Feel free to pause to one side or the other for a couple of breaths. And then pausing in the middle. One more nice deep breath, sigh it out, little smile. Slowly walking the hands back in. And once again, switch the cross of your legs. And once again, forearms, elbows to the knees. Inhale to sweep that right arm up once more. Down in the buttock bone, up through the fingers. Try to find tremendous length in the side body. So if it's coming along, you might take that right arm over to the left just a bit more, but protect your low back at all costs. Keep that right buttock bone heavy and stretch the fingers away any amount. Spin the left back ribs forward. Take one more deep breath. And this time as you rise up, keep the arm extended. Bring the left hand toward the right knee. In reality, it might be the thigh or the hip, and sweep that right arm back. fingers point back behind you. Press down in the right hand, down in the left hand. Rise up in the crown, and as you exhale, turn. Sit tall, soften the shoulders, relax the jaw, deep breath in, which might pull you out of the twist. Let that happen. Exhale, turn. One more time, soften. Deep breath in, exhale, turn. And inhale, sweep both arms up, face forward, and pause. Exhale, release just the right arm. Root down in the left buttock bone. Stretch the left fingers upward. Spin the right back ribs forward. Stretch your sternum to the sky. And then any amount, let the arm go over to the right. Palm can face any direction that feels reasonable. We're looking for a long line between the buttock bone piercing the earth and the fingers reaching away. Stay for 3 breaths. If you're holding your breath, that's the body's way of telling you that you're trying to do too much. And once you have had your 3 breaths, inhale to rise up, keep the arm extended. Bring the right hand over toward the left knee, thigh, hip. Sit tall. On an exhalation, sweep that left arm back. Fingers point back behind you. Press down in the hands. Inhale to rise up through the spine, and exhale, turn. Soften. Take a deep breath in. Let that pull you out of the twist if that's what your body needs. And as you exhale, turn. One more time. Sit tall. Rise up. Exhale, turn. One more nice deep breath. And inhale, sweeping both arms up as you face forward and pause. One more nice deep breath here. And again, exhaling, extend forward, support yourself however it's reasonable. Walking the hands forward. And then again, gently push the earth away with the hands and let the head drop. It may just hang in space. The forehead might come to rest on the earth. Either way, it's okay. And if you like that swaying side to side, feel free to bring that in again, or just pause here. Feel what you feel. And based on what you feel, decide what is in your best interest. One more nice deep breath, sigh it out. And then slowly begin to walk the hands back in and rise up once more. Bringing the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana or bound angle pose. Again, feel free to sit up on some height that can make it easier, using the blocks perhaps to support the knees. Another way to make it easier is to bring the feet further forward, drawing the heels in as you're able. As you feel release in the inner thighs, support yourself with the hands back behind. Find the 5 moons of the chest and let them be full. Gently press the feet together. Begin to peel the big toe mounds away from one another, as if you could open the soles of your feet to the sky, and there are those, of course, who can. I'm not one, but I'm getting there. And as you press the feet together, again, you feel Newton's law of physics. Knee to the heel goes in, but hip to the knee goes out. So it will increase the demand for stretch in the inner thigh. So be sure that you're working with sensitivity. And one more nice deep breath, sigh it out. Learn, release Baddha Konasana and find your block, the narrowest width of the block between your feet. Press the feet into the block and find your optimum shape of Baddha Konasana. So the further apart the feet go, the higher the knees are going to go, the more demand there is for release. At least potentially the knees will go higher. So just notice how this feels different. Squeeze the block with your feet. 5 full moons, little smile. One more nice deep breath. And then as it's reasonable, take the block to the next thickest shape here between your feet. Find that the higher you lift the hips, the easier this will be. So you might build up the support underneath your hips. Squeeze the block with your feet. Find that energy of extending from the pubic bone to the inner knee. One more nice deep breath. And if it's reasonable, go to the highest or the thickest shape of the block, really drawing the feet apart. Give yourself additional support underneath your hips, perhaps. Squeeze the block with your feet and find your version of Baddha Konasana with the feet a little further apart. Breathe. So you were growing the pose incrementally. You find your optimum shape somewhere along the way. Not maximum, but optimum. Good. One more nice deep breath here. Sigh it out. And then releasing the block. Keep the right leg where it is and extend the left leg out. So if you went on to additional height for the thick block in Baddha Konasana, you might find that that's more than you need here. So we're not trying to bring the sole of the right foot to the left foot. The right heel is more or less in line with the right buttock bone. And this left leg is in the seated wide angle pose, or Upabhista. Good, balancing the weight and inhale to take the arms up. Then exhale and turn toward the left, toward the extended leg. Balance the weight on both buttock bones. So lift the left kidney or the left abdominal pillar and the right kidney. So the rib cage is floating up evenly out of the pelvis. And then release the arms down. Left fingers point back, right fingers planted in front of you. Take a deep breath in and exhale to turn. Deep breath in, rise up through the crown, exhale to turn. So we'll take 3 breaths to find our fullest rotation. And then once you have found your perfect spiraling of the spine, we'll stay for 5 breaths. Slow them down. The deep inhalation may pull you out of the twist. That's okay. Let that happen. But notice if you're leaning left or right, forward or back, and what would it take to sit tall? Balancing the weight across the buttock bone. When you've had your 5 breaths, begin to lean back toward the right. Keep the rotation that you've found here, but then coming in and out of the leaning. Slowly leaning back to the right. Baby elephant sitting on your left thigh. Keep your left thigh heavy down toward the earth. And then you may find that once again, your right forearm, elbow comes to the knee, or maybe a block placed on the knee to close the gap, and inhale to stretch the left arm up. So left buttock bone piercing the earth, left fingers piercing the sky. Turn and lean. Make sure that your head and neck are comfortable, no strain, no stress. Jaw soft. And then again, if it's reasonable, take the arm any amount further toward the right to lengthen the line between the buttock bone and the fingers for 3 more breaths. When you've had your 3 breaths, inhale to rise up and exhale to release the arm and bring the left foot to meet the right foot in your Baddha Konasana once more, and pause. You can hold on to the shin so long as it doesn't cause the chest to collapse, in which case you might bring the arms back behind you to really feel the fullness of the upper chest move. So coming to the second side, yes, you know what's coming because we've done it on the first side, but you don't know what's coming because the second side is not the same. We're not the same side to side. Our yoga practice brings us closer and closer to a state of balance. But when you come to the second side and you extend that right leg, you're not picking up where you left off on the first side. So the right leg has to establish Upavista shape, and the left leg sustains the Baddha Konasana shape. Inhale to sweep the arms up. And exhale, turn toward the right. Find that right abdominal pillar and the left kidney band. So the rib cage floats up evenly. Flex the right foot, sit tall, and then release the arms down. Right fingers point back behind you. Find your right upper chest, full moon. Press down in the hands to rise up in the crown, and exhale to turn. Inhale deeply. It might pull you out of the twist. Let that happen. Exhale, soften in. Taking 3 breaths to find our optimum spiral for the spine. And then sustain. One more nice deep breath, and exhale, begin to lean to the left, coming in and out. The right buttock bone is going to start to get light. So our intention is to keep it heavy down toward the earth. Don't lose what you've established in your spiral. Spinning that left waist forward. And then maybe the forearm elbow can find the knee or the shin or the block, and sweep the right arm up. Root the buttock bone down, pierce the earth with the buttock bone, pierce the sky with the fingers, spin the left back ribs forward, turn your heart to the sky, breathe. And then based on what you feel, slowly, maybe it's reasonable to extend the arm any amount further to the left. Find your optimum shape and stay for 5 more breaths. And as you inhale, get those right ribs moving. And when you've had your 5 breaths, inhale to rise up and exhale to release. Keep the right leg where it is and bring the left leg out wide for Upavista Konasana. Sit up on height as you need to. Flex the feet strongly. Baby elephant sitting on each thigh. And then note it, what would it take to get the second toe to point straight up to the sky so that the thighs are not in internal or external rotation, but pure abduction, drawing away from the midline, the inner edges of the feet parallel to one another. And then inhale to take the arms up. If taking the arms up causes you to clench your jaw or hold your breath and lose your 5 full moons, that's the body's way of telling you that you're trying to do too much. Soften the shoulders, harden the elbows. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, turn toward the left. Lift that left abdominal pillar, lift the right kidney band. Take 1 more breath here, and as you exhale, release the arms down. Press down in the hands, rise up in the crown, and turn. Nice and steady. 3 breaths to find your optimum rotation of the spine. Ascending through the crown, pressing down in the hands to help you find that ascension. And then sustain for 3 slow, steady breaths. And 1 more nice deep breath in, sigh it out, and begin to lean to the right. Come in and out of the leaning. Don't lose what you've established with the spiral. Turning and leaning. So maybe the right forearm would come to the right thigh. Definitely use a block here. Bring the forearm to the block, whatever height works for you. Maybe your elbow, forearm comes to the earth. The left hand on the left thigh to act like the baby elephant, pressing down and tractioning the thigh out of the hip, finding space. You spin the right back ribs forward and turn the left upper chest to the sky. Turn your whole heart to the sky. And the right hand, or excuse me, the left hand pressing that thigh down, that may feel really good and you don't want to lose that. But if you can stretch the arm up, try that. increases the need for release in the side body. A gentle pressure hand or arm against the leg to help you fine turn, not to wrench yourself into a shape that you're not ready for yet, but to relax the muscles of the back, the chest, the belly, the shoulders. And then again, maybe you can take that left arm further overhead, spinning the heart up to the sky. You may even be able to find your big toe without turning your heart down. So I'm not there yet. Take the left shoulder back, left elbow back, spin the heart up to the sky, find your breath, and stay for 3. When you've had 3, inhale, gently rising up and pause. Hands back behind you, find your full moon. You may be able to lift the hips and take the hips a little bit further forward. And then again, maybe not. Upavista Konasana, feet flex strongly, second toe pointing straight up. And inhale to take the arms up. Or not. One more nice deep breath here, and exhale, turning to the right. Engage the right abdominal pillar and lift the left kidney band. And exhale, release the arms down. Turn the right fingers to point back behind you. Find your right upper chest full moon. Deep breath in and slowly begin to turn. Start at the lowest part of the belly and the spine, and slowly, incrementally over the next 3 breaths, work your way up. And then sustain your spiral and begin to lean to the left, coming in and out. So maybe a block here, somewhere to rest your left elbow, forearm. Maybe the back of the hand comes to the inner leg, so you have that gentle amount of leverage to keep the spiraling. And then planting the hand, forearm, elbow somewhere, and the right hand on the thigh to press down and traction the leg away. Spin those left back ribs forward, take the right shoulder back, turn your heart to the sky. Make sure that your neck and head are in a comfortable, reasonable, supported position. Growing the pose gradually. So if you feel stable here and you can keep the spiral and Upavista and stretch the right arm up, try that. So turning, leaning, and lifting. Turning, leaning, and lifting. And then maybe you can take the left arm overhead toward the right, or take the right arm overhead toward the left big toe. Good. Spin your heart up. Take that right shoulder back, 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 and reach. Find your optimum shape and stay for 3 more breaths. Slow them down. When you've had your 3 breaths, slowly and carefully inhale to rise up, exhale to release. Lean back on your hands enough that the legs can grow light and float them back into the midline. Don't drag them. Good. And then coming down onto your back with knees bent, use the support of the arms to lower you down and pause. So you might turn the toes to point slightly inward and rest the knees against one another. Soften the inner thighs. And taking a moment to relax, pause, and feel, receive the benefits of the practice so far. And then let the knees drift apart, walk the feet in toward one another, and then let the legs float up. So we're looking to close the gap between the top of the thigh and the low belly, not to draw the knees toward the collarbones. We want the buttocks to stay dropping back down heavy toward the earth. So like a car crusher coming down onto the shins, compacting the limbs, the low limbs into the torso, so that the tail is heavy, the buttocks is soft, the abdomen is relaxing. And then a gentle rocking side to side if that feels nice. It can be small or big. Align the inner edges of the feet with one another. So watch the tendency to maybe cross one foot over or under the other, across the ankles. It's a habit that you want to start to break, that encourages tension in one hip. Feel free to pause anywhere along the way. Feels good. And at some point, when you're ready, pause at neutral, take the left knee in the left hand, the right knee in the right hand, and draw big circles with the knees so that you're going up one side of the sacrum and across the low back and down the other side. So all those attachments of the buttock muscles, the deep lateral rotators, those all attached to the sacrum. So that can be a highly sensational area of the body. So go slowly and sensitively, feel everything. And then perhaps pause somewhere along the way, using the breath, particularly the exhalation, to release the weight of the body onto that spot, to encourage softening and letting go. And when you've gone around in one direction a few times, go in the opposite direction. See what happens. So don't just do it because I asked you to. Do it so that you can experience what it is to go in the other direction. One more time around. If you're pausing, pause for one more breath, and then come to neutral. So let the knees drift away until the arms are straight, but we're not letting the shoulder blades curl up off of the earth. And flex the feet strongly. Lift the heels away from the buttocks until the shins are parallel to the earth. And lift the fingers up, and then take the knees just a little bit away from the hands. Create a nice ramrod with your arm, not letting the shoulders come up. So when we come to this core strengthening exercise, we are bringing the knees to the hands, not the hands to the knees. So when you're ready, gently press the knees into the hands. It does not take much pressure at all. Maximum should be about 50% of your strength. Now you curl the tailbone up, draw the belly in, and press the knees into the hands. Shoulders stay relaxing, soft and heavy on the earth. So this is an isometric contraction, the deep core muscles. So I am working, but you can see that clearly I'm able to speak and breathe and swallow. This is for your core, not for your jaw, and not for your throat or your eyes. So keep those organs soft and open. One more breath, and then hold on to those knees, relax and circle, maybe mirror image or big circles or rocking, whatever feels good to you, whatever's going to allow you to relax those deep abdominal muscles. So a strong core is not a six-pack abs. That's not the same thing. The six-pack abs actually tend to work to a detriment of our breathing. So the deep core muscles, those are the ones that are going to protect our low back. So we'll come in one more time. Let the knees drift away. The arms be long. Flex the feet. Lift the heels up till the shins are parallel to the earth, more or less. The arms stay right where they are. Lift the fingers up and then press the knees into the hands. Scoop the tailbone. There should be no space between your lumbar spine and the earth. Draw the navel toward the spine, pressing the knees into the hands, not the hands into the knees. So broaden across the collarbone. Find a reasonable amount of effort that you can sustain. Curl the tailbone up. Even if you have lumbar condition and you find most core exercises are aggravating to your back, this is one that you can still do. Stay for 3 more slow, steady breaths. And then once again, releasing, let the knees wander about. So this is one exercise where we're really working on building strength, this isometric contraction. So a bit of quivering is okay, so long as you're not clenching your jaw or holding your breath. Last time, set yourself up, knees to the hands, flex the feet, press the lumbar spine down, curl the tail up, and then additional isometric contraction as if the heels were pressing down into a bench to really firm the buttocks and curl the tail up. Find a reasonable amount of effort, maybe a bit of quiver, but not clenching in the jaw, not lifting the shoulders, not holding the breath. We'll stay for 5 more breaths. And when you have had your 5 breaths, release and let the legs wander about once more. And pause. And roll over to one side, either side, doesn't matter. Keep going, press yourself up and come to standing. Find the path of least resistance, maybe without the use of your hands. And as you come to standing, take a nice wide stance. So when we were lying on our backs, this was, or sitting down, excuse me, this was Upavista Konasana. And now that we're standing, it's Prasarita Padottanasana. That the inner edges of the feet still parallel, toes pointing straight ahead. Press into the outer edges of the feet strongly. And then isometrically draw the outer ankles in and hands to the waist. On an exhalation, extend the arms across the horizon. Heavy shoulders, light hands. Pressing into the outer edges of the feet, drawing the ankles in. Lift the floor of the pelvis, drop the tail. Let the heart be buoyant. Rise up through the crown and extend out through the limbs. So go from the core to the periphery, and then from the periphery to the core. Back and forth. As the breath flows, the energy flows. That lift in the floor of the pelvis, Mula Bandha, to trigger the energy right up through the center channel, the Shoshana, straight out through the crown of the head. And then releasing the arms down. Hands to the waist. Lift the left toes, spiral the whole left thigh until the toes point to the short end of the mat, and lower the toes down. So pressing into the inner edge of the left foot and the outer edge of the right foot, right toes point in. Stand on your right outer heel, turning the thigh from the inner to the outer as you're able on both legs. The buttocks are moving in and down and forward. Find your left frontal hip bone and any amount, lift it and lower it. So as you lift it, it increases the crease in the outer right hip. And as you lower it, this gets smooth. It's not the torso going, the torso will go, but it's about movement of the pelvis. So the pelvis is lifting up and over the post that that left leg has created. And the next time that you come up and over, we're going to continue. So creating a nice post, drawing that left leg into the pelvis is coming up and over, spinning the left back ribs forward. Press into the outer edge of your right foot. Tail goes with the right heel. So that as you come over, watch that you're not sticking those right ribs out like an overstuffed suitcase. Come long in your left waist. Reach the right arm back. Sliding the left hand down. Keep the left waist long. Stretch the ribs forward and then sweep the right arm up for Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. So there are no arched lines in a triangle. So the slightest contraction in the right waist to lengthen the left waist. If you feel strong and stable and steady, turn the gaze up to the right thumb. Find your breath. Make tahini with the sesame seed in that outer right heel. One more breath, and then inhale, rise up. Extend the arms across the horizon. Lift that left frontal hip bone and bend the left knee. Come in and out. The root of the pose is the right heel. Stand on your right leg and then bending the left knee for Virabhadrasana 2 and pause. Watch that the torso is not going with you. So we lift that frontal hip bone. Sit down in the left buttock bone. One more breath and exhale, release the arms down. Straighten the leg, lift the toes. Spiral the whole thigh until the toes point forward. And if you wound up too wide, just come back in. It happens. Pressing into the outer edges of the feet, isometrically draw the ankles in. Lift the floor of the pelvis, rise up through the crown, and on an exhale, extend the arms. 5-pointed star. Nice and strong, stable through the legs. Strong hips, strong core. Drop your tail and lift your heart. Go from the core to the periphery, and from the periphery to the core. One more nice deep breath, sigh it out, and release the arms down. Hands to the waist, lift the right toes, spiral the right thigh until the toes point to the short end of your mat, and release the toes down. So toe, heel, arch of the back foot all in a line. Take the left toes forward, heel out, stand on the left heel, and externally rotate both thigh bones. Buttocks moving in, down, and forward. Tail is heavy. Identifying your right frontal hip bone in any amount, lower it and lift it. And lower it and lift it. This is my arthritic side, so my pelvis wants to come up and around the hip bone. So really have to focus on taking that right buttock bone forward. So notice for you what it takes to have the torso going laterally as a unit, up and over the post that you're creating with that right leg. And then one time when you come over, keep coming. Increase the crease here, let this grow smooth, and stretch the left arm back. Stretch the left arm back to extend the crown forward and slide the right arm down. Making tahini in the left outer heel, reaching the left arm back, and then let the left arm float up. But watch that you don't contract the right waist. Lengthen the right waist by slightly contracting the left waist, and spin the heart to the sky, and maybe look to your left thumb. Scoop the tail under. The tail goes with the left heel. Find your breath for 3 more nice, easy breaths here in Utthita Trikonasana. And when you've had 3, inhale to rise up, extend the arms and lift that right frontal hip bone and bend the knee. Come in and out, making tahini in your left heel still. Stand on your left heel and go down from the right buttock bone. And when you feel you have a reasonable shape, pause. Turning the belly from the right to the left. Breathe. Smile. And then straighten the leg, release the arms down, lift the toes, point the toes forward, and heel toe walk the feet in to just wider than hip distance. So more in line with these hips than the frontal hip bone. And inhale, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, soften the knees and rest the forearms on the side. Release any tension in the low back. You tend to take the stress of the standing poses in the low back when we don't engage the legs enough. Very strong legs for our standing pose. Relax the abdomen. Soften the muscles along the spine. And pause. Let the neck stretch. The head can hang or remain supported, a natural extension of the spine, particularly if you have cervical stenosis, uncontrolled high blood pressure, detached retina, glaucoma, recent eye surgery, vertigo, osteoporosis, migraine headaches. Then you want to keep the neck a natural extension of the spine. Otherwise, let it hang. Take one more breath. And then drop the hips just a little lower and stretch your heart forward. Drop the hips down and then shift the weight back toward the heels. You might even lift the toes. Keep the forearms on the thighs as much as you need to, but if you can scoop the belly in and feel strong in the core and stable without clenching the jaw, stretch the arms across the horizon. A little bit of quivering okay here too. Drop the hips low. Maybe sweep the arms forward and peel the torso off the thighs, but not by straightening the legs. One more breath down and the heels up in the crown. Sweep the arms all the way up. Hands into prayer position and exhale right in front of the heart. Take the feet just a little bit closer. Release the arms down. One more time. Sweep the arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Upward hand pose. And then soften the knees and the hips, forearms to the thighs. Shift the weight back toward the heels. Drop the hips low. Scoop the tail under. Draw the belly in and up. Stretch the heart forward and extend the arms out. If you find that this is only possible because you're clenching your jaw or holding your breath, bring the forearms back to the thighs. Otherwise, sweep the arms forward, up. Lift your heart as you sit back into chair pose, as if there were a chair behind you. You were going to sit into it. And lift the sternum, lift the heart, stretch the arms up, and then inhale, rise all the way up. Hands into prayer position and pause. One more time. Maybe bringing the feet a little bit closer still. The closer the feet, the more challenging this becomes. So you be the judge. Release the arms one more time, sweep them up. Exhale, hinge forward, soften the knees, bend at the hips, sit back and down. Shift the weight back onto your heels. Drop the hips low. If you have the mobility to go lower than your knees, resist the temptation. Scoop the tailbone under, draw the belly in and up, and maybe stretch the arms across the horizon, or sweep the arms forward. Yogi's choice. Drop the hips low, draw the belly in, stretch the heart forward, find your breath, make it reasonable. And then pressing down and the heels to rise all the way up. Keep the arms extended upward. Soften the shoulders. Bend the elbows. Take a hold of the opposite elbow. Gently press the elbows into the hands and lift the forearms up. Drop the shoulders down. And as you press the elbows into the hands, begin to broaden across the collarbones so that the armpits are turning toward one another any amount. Reach the forearms up, drop the tail down, lift the kneecap. Notice which arm is in front, and as you exhale, extend the arms upward once more. Bend the elbows, crossing in the opposite way. Press the elbows into the hands, create that dynamic tension. Lift the forearms up, broaden across the shoulder blades and the collarbones, but turn the armpits toward one another. Nice deep breath here. Good. So whichever arm is in front, for me, it's my left. I'm going to keep a hold of that, but release the right arm and give myself a pat on the back with the right arm. So whichever arm is in front is the one that you keep holding. And the opposite arm, you're giving yourself a pat on the back, keeping the elbow in. The elbow is going to want to turn outward. So as you're able, that spiraling of the upper arm and drawing the elbow in, the opposite hand is there to help. And then if you give yourself a pat on the back, see if you can sustain that and stretch the other arm up and then out. Palm faces forward, downward, and backward. Exhale, sweep the arm back and wiggle, walk the back of the hand up the spine, and maybe the fingers come together, or you could get your strap and use the strap to close the gap. The up elbow is going to want to turn out and spread the wing, see if, what it would take to keep the elbow in toward the midline and up. So both elbows in and one elbow up and one elbow down. Breathe. Get the strap by all means to close the gap. Take one more nice deep breath. Sigh it out. Release the upper arm first and then the lower arm. Noting which arm was on top, so that as you come into Urdhva Hastasana, you want to cross in the opposite way. That is to say that the back hand, the hand of the back arm, releases the hold on the opposite elbow. So if you're not sure, just try. And if you're on the same side, cross again, switch. So I'm using my right hand to help spiral and keep that elbow pointing upward. So in and back. I'm giving myself a pat on the back, right in between the shoulder blades as you're able. So without clenching the jaw or holding your breath, you have to release the hold on the elbow. And in reality, the elbow may wing out. And stretching the arm up and then out. Palm faces forward, downward, and backward. All the way back. Sweep the arm back, bend the elbow, wiggle, 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 walk the hand up. And see if maybe the fingers interlace on this side, or the strap in the top hand just drops down. Gravity will deliver it to the lower hand. The elbows are in. One is up and one is down. Find your breath. Drop the tail, lift the kneecaps, engage the legs. Strong legs for the standing poses. One more deep breath. Inhale to release the top arm. And exhale to release the bottom arm. Inhale, sweep the arms up one more time. And exhale, reach the arms out. Palms face forward, and downward and backward. Make sure that your foundation and your standing pose is stable. Sweep the arms back for Yoga Mudra. So bringing the hands interlaced. The strap again can help you here. If you're using the strap to close the gap, the palms face backwards. Create tension in the strap or tension in the interlace of the fingers. So tremendous expansion across the collarbone, shoulders back and down. Watch the tendency for the chest and the ribs to want to pop forward. Try to tame those ribs. As you reach the arms down, feel the kidney band reaching back to find the upper or the forearm bone. Tadasana, strong, stable, and steady. Opening up the palms will make this easier. See if you can draw the palms gently toward one another. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, hinge at the hips, lift the kneecap, lift the buttock bone, bend the knees as you need to, stretch the heart forward and pause. As you stretch the heart forward, reach the arms back. Reach the arms back, and then the arms come up. The arms go out and back, and then come up. Out and up and over, and out and up and over. So you want to watch that you're not wearing your shoulders as earrings. There's nice length in all four sides of the neck. Let the head hang. Soften the knees as you need to. Send the inner thighs back. Shoulder blades plastered to the back ribs. You lift the arms up. And then let gravity take them overhead any amount. Breathe. Nice, slow, steady breath. One more nice deep breath. Sigh it out. Carefully inhale to rise up, soften the knees. Drop the tail. Notice which thumb is on top. Release the interlace and inhale to sweep the arms up. Once again, Urdhva Hastasana. Take the legs wide. Prasarita Padottanasana. Exhale, release the arms out. Turn the palms forward, back. Sweep the arms back and interlace in your non-habitual way. So if you're not sure, if you can't remember, interlace and then switch every finger by one. Draw the shoulder blades together, reach the arms down, knuckles down, lift the heart. Inhabit the outer edges of your feet. And as you exhale, hinge forward, leading literally with your heart. Let the kidney band find the forearm bones. Pause halfway. Stretch the heart forward, reach the arms back. This may be your optimum shape, but if your body allows you to continue to hinge at the hips, reaching the arms out to come overhead, find your edge. If you're using the strap, create tension in the strap, palms face away. Spiral the upper arm, broaden across the collarbones, narrow the shoulder blades in toward one another, and relax the jaw. Find your optimum shape. We'll stay for 5 slow, steady breaths. So not always in the doing stage, but in the receiving stage. Let the body receive the shape. When you've had 5, your best friend's got you by your interlaced fingers or the strap, and inhale, rise up. And release. Hands to the waist, heel toe, walk the feet in. Coming all the way in until the inner edges of the feet meet. Squeeze the legs together, compacting from the bones, not gripping with the inner thigh muscles. Inhabit the inner edge of your right foot and peel the left heel up. With the hands on the waist, you want to note what the waist is doing, what the pelvis is doing, so that you're not collapsing on the right hip or lifting the left hip as you lift the left knee. And then that spiraling, a shape that we've been in any number of times already this morning. Walk the foot in. The toes can absolutely stay on the earth. Inhabit the inner edge of your right foot to create compacting in the outer hip, and then gradually and slowly let that left foot slide up the inside of the right leg. You can absolutely pause at the inner knee. If you can reach down to find the shin without hinging at the hips, bring the foot up. Press the leg into the foot, equal to the foot into the leg. Find that neutral pelvis. So the left thigh is tractioning out and away. The more cushion you have underneath your foot, the harder it is to balance. So 2 mats, just too much. Bring the palms together in front of your heart. Pressure into the midline, down through the standing leg and up through the crown. And then you can stretch the arms across the horizon or stretch them up for Vrikshasana, tree pose. Don't overstay your welcome, but don't deny yourself one more breath. And this is balancing. It's a verb, not balance complete. Come out when you feel as though you lose your shape or start to feel fatigued. Don't deny yourself one more breath. Hands to the waist. Bring the feet right together. Inhabit the inner edge of the left leg. So it makes the leg long and compacts the outer hip. And then peeling the right heel up, but not the right hip. Pelvis remains level. Spiral the thigh. Walk the toes in. And any amount, slide the foot up. If you can reach down to the shin without hinging at the hips to bring the foot up, that's fine. Otherwise, pause somewhere on the thigh or the knee. Press that outer hip into the foot evenly as the foot is into the leg and tractioning the right thigh out. Hands together in prayer position to emphasize energy into the midline, down in the standing leg, up in the crown, and then find your position for your arm that's just right for you in this shape. Nice, slow, steady breath and come out with all the control that you can muster. One more time on each side for Vrikshasana or tree pose. Some days balancing really comes, and some days it just eludes you. It's like somebody spinning the earth on its axis much faster and you lose it. So it's okay, be a humble thing. Inhabit the inner edge of your right foot. Stand on the right foot first, and then find your way. Coming into the pose stage by stage. And growing because the current stage is reasonable, stable, and steady. Don't overstay your welcome, but don't deny yourself one more breath. If you're struggling, just come out. It's better to come out if you're struggling and just go in and out a few times than to sustain the struggle. Second side, second time. A little smile and coming out with control. Take a moment in Tadasana. Sink the heels, drop the tail, lift the knees, let the heart be buoyant. So as we're making our way in evolution into two legs up from being on all fours, we're still evolving. So the tendency is that the chest comes forward, the shoulders round. We reach forward, look forward, move forward, speak forward. So everything tends to go forward, which means we tend to pitch forward. So as you're coming into Tadasana, we're looking to stack joint on top of joint. Most of us need to drop the tail, send the thigh bones back, shift the hips slightly forward, and lift the sternum, taking the shoulders back, right? Watch, I've spent my career analyzing posture, and this is what you normally see. People pitch forward, shoulders rounded, the head enters the room first. So for Tadasana, in order to stack our joints, the thigh bones have to go back, the tail has to go down, the chest has to lift, but the kidney band fills, and the shoulders back and down. And the chin draws slightly back, but not so much that you're contracting in the front of the throat, no rigidity in the front of the throat. And then the arms in Tadasana are like the waterfall, returning the energy back to the earth. So notice. When you find the mobility and the flexibility to stack the joints on top of one another, then you recognize that the skeleton is doing the job of opposing gravity, and the muscles can hang from the skeleton, the scaffolding, so that we're not putting ourselves in this position opposing gravity by using the muscles to hold our skeleton in a distorted shape. Good. And then once again, find the path of least resistance to come back down, maybe without the use of your hands. Have your props on hand so that as we begin to construct Shavasana, you have what you need to support yourself, to feel comfortable. So start with the knees bent and the feet planted. Begin to align the upper body first. Use the hands to gently traction the back of the head away, lengthening the back of the neck, soften the throat, and maybe allow the forehead to be any amount higher than the chin. That will have a quieting effect on the brain. You may find that in reality, your chin is lifting up toward the sky quite a bit. That's that same forward head posture that I was just talking about. So a pillow underneath the back of your head so that the chin can drop. And the arms are at a 45-degree angle away from your body. So touching the torso is 0, straight out, and T is 90, halfway is 45. The palms face upward in a receiving gesture. Tuck the shoulder blades in and down, and find the buoyancy and the fullness of the upper moons of your chest. And then one at a time, extend the legs as the skin, muscle, flesh of the buttocks is tucking in and down toward the heel. Relax the legs evenly and completely. If you find that there's some tension residual in the low back, please put a blanket, pillows, block, something underneath the back of your knee to take the pressure off the low back. You might find that just a pillow under your head for comfort, something underneath your knees. If you're fortunate enough to have an eye pillow to cover the eyes, a sleeve or a sock, folded up strap, and a blanket to cover the body. If not for warmth, then just for comfort. So this is Shavasana, the most important pose. It translates as the corpse pose. We practice. It's coming, no need to worry. But when that day comes, when we have to let it all go, hopefully the transition will be easier for us because we practice. So feeling the full weight of your body, resting completely on the earth. Muscles are the element of earth. So feel them drawn down to the earth, heavy. The organs of the body, the content of your abdomen, torso, tongue, brain, eyes, is the element of water. Water will always recede, drop to the low point, and spread to the edges of what contains it. So feel your organic body recede and spread. The bones share the element of air. Porous, hollow, in many cases, light. So as the muscles return to the earth, the organic body softens and spreads. Feel a sense of lightness in the bones. and you do less. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out. Stay with yourself for just a few moments more. Noticing. Take another deep breath in, sigh it out. And if you care to, let that little smile return to your face and begin to breathe in some smiling energy. And when the body is full of radiant, dazzling, smiling energy, the spirit will move you to move the body. There's no need to hurry. It's coming. Just keep breathing. When you feel moved to move so slowly, as if for the very first time with great curiosity, inviting movement back into the body, starting the most distal points, fingers and toes. Slowly, gradually begin to grow the movement. Find your own progression, moving more and more body parts as you see fit. And eventually coming to stillness. Deep breath in, and then a big full body stretch, even if you have to take the yawn. And settle down. One at a time, bending the knees, drawing the feet in. Plant the feet. Extend the right arm comfortably overhead and roll all the way over onto your right side, supporting the head and neck with the arm or hand. Draw the knees in, commit to the fetal position. Pause here for what you deem to be an adequate amount of time. And when you're ready, use the strength of the arms to press you up with bent knees and hanging head. Take the time to reestablish your comfortable seat. Hands into prayer position in front of the heart. Inhale to sit tall and exhale. Tuck the chin and bow just the head. And take a moment to consider these words by Dana Fogg. This is a poem titled Here. She writes, "It's always here, the silent underpinning, the foundation beneath the foundation. When I reach deep enough into darkness, inside fear, self-doubt, aversion, or despair, there's something so intact, I almost miss it in my focus on brokenness. It's always here, this ground of being, like the water in which fish swim, it's easy to overlook the eloquence of truth. It's here, this guiding presence, this calm, abiding stillness. It's here when I don't try to make life any more or less than what it is, when I stop trying to be right. It's here when I unclench my fists and breathe, when I let go of the demand to make life smooth or easy. It's here, the oneness underlying multiplicity, the exquisite isness of everything. I could shout it from the rooftops, but it's true no matter what I say, and I know that you'll find your way in your own time, your own way, that precious moment when you choose to meet life exactly as it is. We'll end our time together by joining our voices in the sweet and sacred sound of Om. Inhaling as the head floats up and sigh it out, and inhale to chant. Hare Om, Shanti, peace, shalom, salam, with deep gratitude and deep respect. Namaste. And thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. Thank you for your time and attention.